Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Unveiling Addiction. Just kidding. Okay, so today I'm very honored actually because how do you pronounce your last name, Scott?
Humes.
Humes. Okay.
Mhm.
So Scott connected with me. We're going to get into a little bit of his story. He kind of calculated the fact. If you are new here, I am honing in on, yes, it is about addiction, but it is also about this devil drug called Suboxone that millions of people are trapped on and are fearful to come off of. Okay. And I appreciate everybody already here in the chat. We put together this live like literally last minute. We were going to record it, then I was going to post it. Then I can't record it because I'm not like my plan, whatever. I couldn't record it. So he was like, screw it, let's do it live. Well, he's in the middle of all this right now. He is 9 days off of Suboxone. So he is fresh in this fight. And so, coming off of this medication is not easy to do. It's doable, but it's not the easiest thing to do. I mean, it takes a really strong mindset to do this, but you can definitely do it. And I was very honored for him. And I told him, hey, let's do an interview whenever you're ready. No pressure. Even if you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. He's like, you know what? Let's do it. He even just told me right now that he inspired somebody to stop taking Suboxone. So a lot of these doctors are trying to tell these patients that you are a lifer, right? Like that's the thing. Like a diabetic needs insulin for the rest of their life, an addict needs Suboxone. That's a bunch of bullshit. So this is why we're doing what we're doing so that we can start planting seeds with people that it is doable. Yes, it's a bit of a fight, but I mean, the more that we come together and the more stories that we have, the easier it's going to be for that next person to navigate. So I'm very honored that Scott decided to come on and chat with me today. I appreciate everybody in the chat right now that's here because I kind of threw this together last minute. He's like, hey, let's go. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. Because when you are going through this fight, it's not easy. And if you have a couple of seconds or you have a couple, like an hour or so to spare, then we're going to go ahead and do that and get into it. So I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat. Hey, Jane, I am so glad you're here. I was just telling Scott, I'm like, I have people that have been supporting me on my journey for quite some time. I'm so grateful, right? And Jason, hey, Jason, it's good to see you. Glad you're here. All right, Scott, let's get into a little bit about your journey, right? Let's get right into it. So for starters, first of all, how did you come across my content? How did you find my page?
All right. Well, first of all, I'm flattered that you're honored, and it's nice to be here with you. I came across your page by total absolute. Just out of the blue. A friend of mine I had gotten connected with recently. He's a little bit younger than me. I'm 38. He's late 20s, maybe 30. He's pushing me to get on TikTok. He's telling me that there's like a recovery community on TikTok, and I'm not a social media guy. So he literally, I was driving him home, and he took my phone and installed it, and then followed himself, and then a day or two later, yeah. Which if I had his I would definitely shout it out right now, but with my phone, plugged in. Maybe later. You're on speaker, but yeah, no, like I looked into it. Yeah, I mean, it took a little bit of work because initially he had taken Sublocade, and there's plenty of Sublocade information. What I thought was funny that when I tried searching for Suboxone information on TikTok, there's no name brand Suboxone hashtags anywhere to be found. And it's pretty obvious why to me. So I started looking at buprenorphine. I found your channel. I found it inspiring, to be honest, because I've been fighting this fight for close to a year. Didn't have a support network for the first half of it, and really didn't think to even look on a place like TikTok or like I said, I'm not a social media guy. Reddit was like the furthest I had gone, and I'd gotten some great stuff from Reddit, by the way. But yeah, I mean, you were putting your stuff out there, and I was watching your videos one night, and I was just like, dude, I got to reach out to this girl, or this woman. Sorry. And I think I texted you or emailed you or something. I went to your website, I got your contact info, and then yeah, we spoke the next day, I guess, because I reached out to you the night after I found your channel.
Dude, I love that. Yeah, the universe aligned us in such a beautiful way because you have a very similar mindset to mine. I mean, you talk about practicing yoga, you talk about your intuition, like, yeah, it's very interesting.
I do now.
Oh,
Took me a
what's
while to
that?
get there. Yeah. I have
What's
an
that?
I have a dedicated mindset now, but it took me a long time to get there. A long time. Oh, you want me to keep going? I was on subs 15 years. So, you
Okay.
know.
So, Scott decided not to, he didn't, going through this fight is actually, it's very difficult. And, I have pictures and videos of myself from when I was going through all of this. And I'm so glad that I documented my journey because I am able to go back and look at like pictures or videos of myself then and compare it to now and see how much Suboxone genuinely suppresses your life force energy and suppresses everything. Scott, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
there you are. Okay.
Yeah.
You broke up on us. Okay, go. So I just kind of took
Oh,
over.
my bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm t-
So Jane says, keep fighting this Scott. Don't give up. Oh, he's definitely not going to give up. That's for sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's for sure. So let's get into this. Let's get into why you are on Suboxone in the first place. Where did this start for you? So for me, I was abusing pain pills, right? I was taking, it's nobody's fault but my own, right? But like I tell everybody, they're, Indivior, the makers of Sublocade, the makers of Suboxone. Indivior is the makers of Suboxone. They are telling us that we have opioid use disorder. Okay, there's no disorder. When you prescribe a patient an addicting drug, they're going to become addicted. But leave it to big pharma to be like, okay, so now you have this disorder, so now we've got this drug for your disorder. No, so now you have a bunch of people hopped up on Suboxone, stuck on Suboxone, that are unable to get off of it. Okay. So and for me, I was abusing pain pills. I was probably taking like 15 a day, and when you're comparing the 15 pain pills to like the one Suboxone a day, it's like you think you found the golden ticket because that one Suboxone is very strong. And it honestly, with the first time you take it, feels like a warm blanket kind of over your body, right? So let's get into why you were prescribed Suboxone in the first place.
I mean, pretty simply put, like I'm an addict and I lived and grew up in Florida. And I was a young 20s, late teens when that opioid crisis kicked off in 2010, oxycodone and cotton. And I mean, I had affinity for other drugs, and I knew I loved painkillers and in whatever form. Um, and I was in college. I mean, I wasn't really in college. I was around college. I dropped out pretty early, or I just stopped going to like kind of feed my addiction, whatever it was at the time.
Okay.
And oxys were popular. They were around 2010. By that point, everybody and their mom had a script.
Yeah.
I never personally even had to have a prescription because I was so close to people that you know had them so cheap and available.
Yeah.
I stayed away. I stayed away from oxys as long as I could, like which was not long, 6 months. I'd seen other people getting like pretty wrecked, like their lives being pretty wrecked and unmanageable. And I knew like the danger for me and what I loved, like my personal drug of choice. But I caved, you know, and I'd say in under a year, it took me down. Like I was in my first treatment center in detox, 2010, 2011. Just like wow, that took me down quick because I was always a very measured addict. I was functional. I could work, never missed a day of work.
Right.
Presented like a non-addict, but yeah, that was me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was in a pretty dark place in my life. You know what? The first encounter I ever had with Oxycontin, that's what we're talking about, right? Oxycontin. I don't care. Like, this is going to be, I was in a very dark place, right? And it was like anything to numb or escape. I remember walking into a friend's house, and we all know how expensive those 80s are. They're like $30 a pop. And I walked into a friend's house, and they had a big line on the table, and I thought it was like Coke. And yeah, I did that, and it was not. It was in fact an 80 milligram, and I mean, it rocked my world.
Holy shit, a
It
full
was an
80?
a whole freaking 80. The guy he was like pissed, but also like he liked me. So it was like, but it rocked my world. I remember I went back in that back room. I laid down and it was like, I loved the way that I felt, but also like I was so young. And I mean, I wasn't even 20 years old. And I had just did a whole entire, 80 milligram oxy.
That
And
was, that was, sorry to cut you off. That was your
no,
first experience with Oxy?
yeah,
Dude, that's heroin. That's
I know.
legitimately heroin.
I
Holy
know.
shit.
I
Wow.
know.
Can we
I know.
curse? I'm sorry. I don't want to curse if you don't want me to.
Curse? What? No.
Okay, all right.
On this channel, it's co-ed, all right. I invite it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? It was pretty crazy. But I mean, I remember I had no idea what this shit was. And I do remember going to pill mills. I would doctor hop and be able to get my hands on I wasn't even 21 years old and I was able to get my hands on this synthetic freaking heroin called Oxycontin. Yeah. So let's back to your story. So you were on Oxycontin. You were just kind of getting them from people. And then what happened next? What, you went to a doctor and you were like, what was the next step? Like what?
In and out of detox and treatment. The irony is it was probably a year or maybe a little more that I abused Oxy. And then before I got put on subs. But yeah, I mean, I ended up going to a treatment facility after the detox. I remember thinking in my 20 something, 21, 22-year-old mind, like how much I love this drug. I could never foresee myself not doing it. I was in treatment and I thought like, wow, that got out of hand, but I got to give myself 6 months, reset my tolerance, and then I can approach this drug again and do it responsibly. Like that was my mode of thinking. That's how addicted that shit was.
Wow. While you were in rehab. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I don't mean to laugh.
No,
I
it's
guess
funny. It's funny. Listen,
you laugh
I, I,
about it now, right? Because
I, I
you have,
refu-
go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I can laugh now because I just broke the chains like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
But no, it is funny, and I refuse to let this whole experience fucking ruin my sense of humor. Like
Yeah.
it's tragic. A lot of people have died, but I'm not. So, you got to laugh at yourself.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I know my sense of humor is kind of, some people may not think that the things that I think are very funny, but when you've been through the ringer, you learn to laugh at the shit that tried to bring you down and you overcame, right? It's like you got to make it your bitch. But okay, so let's get into where Suboxone started with you. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get into that. Where did this start for you? How were you put on this devil drug? How much did they start you with? Did they tell you were going to be a lifer? I know
Yeah.
Scott calculated, what did you calculate? 5,400 days.
It's a ballpark, but yeah, straight days.
5,400 straight days
Mm-hmm.
on Suboxone, and he is just 9 days off. That's it. He is fresh 9 days off. So let's get into where that started with you and what the doctor said, where it all began.
I was back on the street out of my last treatment facility. I had no tools. I had no desire, and I felt good. I'd flushed the toxins, and I worked out, and I was feeling good physically. I was not there mentally, and unfortunately, I went to go hang out with an addict that I met in treatment. Had been in there longer than I had, and my last relapse before Suboxone, I drove out to the coast of Florida. I got to his place. When I pulled in his driveway, he'd let me know, like, "Oh, probably should have told you, but we're in here. We're fucking up. We're doing this and that." Yeah, so I go in there. I think they're shooting subs. He was a day. He was a day. Me neither at the time. Subutex, I think. He was a day or two out of treatment. I think I had beat him by a few weeks. And I should have been upset, but I wasn't in a place of like recovery. I was just like, yeah, I want to stay clean and whatnot. But also I was not that. I was fresh out, so I was like, okay. I remember I didn't relapse that day, but I took some home, 2-3 pills home. They were the blues, the 30s. I remember holding them, looking at them in my hand.
Roxy's?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember this distinct moment. It's really the last time I felt like I had an option when it came to any kind of pain medication. And that was 2011, I think. Yeah, it was, I looked at him. I'm like, man, I've been doing all this work. I feel so good physically. I'm sharp mentally. Like I could just not take this right now and be okay. And I fucking took him home and I took him the next day. And within a couple of days, I was driving back out to the coast. I was putting myself in all kind of sketchy situations, showing up at some guy's house that could have gotten raided any second. By that time, a couple 100,000 people probably were already dead because of this crisis, and they were starting to crack down. Um, I had taken Suboxone and detox. I put myself in about the worst possible precip withdrawal, just being young and stupid. I wrote it out at home for 4 days. I was sicker than I could even describe. My parents shipped me off to detox. They gave me Suboxone and detox. So I was familiar with it. All I knew was it leveled me out quick. I mean, I was super dope sick and it just, you know,
Yeah.
it flipped the switch. By the way, I want to make this point too. Like another realization was me taking my first oxy was me admitting to myself that like this is my um man, my memory still blanks, but it's like this is the missing link to my brain, you know? I'd mess with other drugs. I always had to have a supply of something on me. But this specific drug
Yeah.
was like whatever I needed it to be, my antidepressant, my social anxiety cure, all that shit, you know? And it's
Yeah.
like I committed myself to taking that little by little, but eventually it just became unmanageable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd heard about subs. My parents were concerned. They found a doctor. It was not a clinic. It was not like a daily dose type deal. It was like a psych. And I ended up in his office again, dope sick 4 or 5 days later, where I was first given what was going to be like my prescription of Suboxone. I took 3 strips. Um,
Whoa, wait, you
yeah,
started out with 3 strips?
yeah.
Wow. All in one, you took 3 strips back to back to back.
Yeah, I
Holy
sat there.
shit.
One of my parents were there. The doctor was there. I was in the office, and I sat there, took it, and one by one. And again, I don't even remember feeling high. I remember feeling level because I was dope sick. I'd never
Okay.
taken Suboxone with a clean, like with a non-dope sick brain or body.
Right.
And
Right.
I went later that day to a Lil Wayne concert, who was headlining. Nicki Minaj was opening up. That's how fucking long ago this was. And I was laid out in the bathroom of the arena. Dope spins. Like the only drug that gave me dope spins was the first time I took that much Suboxone on day one. I was puking my guts out. And yeah, still no
Yeah.
red flags. I just
So
took
so
less.
so who was it, your doctor that was like, "Oh, yeah, by the way, you need," because that's, what is that, 32 milligrams? What is that? You took one by, or
24,
was it,
24,
what's that now?
32, 24, 32 is the max. I think they were
24. Okay,
describing me.
so was it your doctor that was like, "Oh yeah, you need 24 milligrams and you need to take it right now"? Whose bright idea was that?
Yeah, doctor.
The
I
doctor.
mean,
Of course
yeah,
it was.
it was sold to me as a non-addictive miracle drug,
Oh,
just like
for
it was sold to,
fuck's sake.
it's just like it was sold to everybody. I mean, that was part of the sales pitch. You taper off slow. You're on it for a year or two. You taper off slowly. It's painless, and you rebuild your dopamine and your opiate receptors, and it protects your brain. I mean, that was like the stock, and that was probably the fucking PowerPoint that they were showing these doctors. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh, you know it. Oh, yeah, you know it. Just like their bullshit script, like I mentioned earlier on, just like I mean, I've heard this multiple times from so many people that I've talked to, and I will keep saying it and keep saying it, and I don't care until I'm blue in the face. Doctors saying, you like a diabetic needs insulin for the rest of their life, an addict needs Suboxone.
Mhm.
That is such a crock of freaking shit, if I've ever heard one. And so I'm like, okay, why am I hearing this multiple times? This is a script, right? This is a script that they are given. And I mentioned to you earlier, so I'm currently speaking to an individual that is going through this process. Her doctor decided to start taking the patients off the medication Suboxone. He says he has experience getting people off Suboxone because he's worked with people in the prisons and he's gotten quite a few people off there, right? And, she calls him and she's like, look, she's like, I'm about ready to take my life. I can't deal with this withdrawal. This is crazy. She's like, how I can't even function. He's like, oh, well, you got to grow some thick skin in the game. And she's like, you know what? Fuck you in your thick fucking skin.
Yeah.
Because you have no, I mean, these doctors genuinely do not know. If you have not been through this process, it'd be one thing if he didn't, I mean, he didn't have to see. I try not to take things personal, right? But it's like you really have no idea what you're talking about, because this is not easy to come off of. And we know that is done by design, right? So, not only her, but like this other individual I'm speaking to that I'm kind of walking with, everyone so far has said, you know what? You've helped me more than talking to my doctors. My doctors don't know shit except for their limiting information that they have been taught, or the script that they have been given. They have no idea. It's a lot better and it's a lot easier for us to come together and kind of help each other with what did you experience? What did you go through? Okay, you don't feel alone. And these doctors, they really don't have any idea. They know what they've read. They know what they've learned about, but they don't know, they have not experienced it. So they really have no room to say shit, to be honest.
You can't really explain opiate withdrawal or addiction to anybody that's unaffected. And that goes for crack addicts, meth. I mean, it's a different ballpark, and you definitely can't expect doctors to have any idea what they're talking about to coach you through withdrawal. It's the most debilitating feeling I've ever felt. I just felt it 3 days ago. I was laid out trying to just get sun, and the sun was just hurting me. Just laying in the sun was hurting. Like, oh yeah, it is. I mean, it takes its toll physically and mentally, but physically, like unlike anything else I've tried or come off of.
So we have someone in the chat that's like tired of it, but not close to being done with the journey. It's got me by the balls. What would you say to him? What would you say to this guy?
I said it had me by the balls for 14 fucking years. Every day, my life and my days centered around like having the sub on me, making sure I had it with me, making sure I could take time away to take it and not be seen. I told no one in my life that I was on this medication. I kept that shit to myself. And I picked up other drugs. I set them down throughout that time, but my life appeared manageable on the outside. But it wasn't until, by complete coincidence, I moved back home with my parents. And I moved out after the Suboxone thing, getting treatment. Like, I was able to rebuild my life pretty quick. Getting a job, getting a place, whatever, within a year or two. No, within a few months, actually. And I didn't miss a day for 14 years. When I got home, when I moved, I'd followed work back here. I traveled a little bit, had moved around the state. It hard to explain, but it's like in my heart, I knew I didn't need or needed to be off this, but I had absolutely no solutions on like how to get off it, because it had me locked in a fucking mental prison. I figured like, hey, I'm home by coincidence. Let me just take like, I don't know. I was on one strip a day, by the way. And
Okay.
I would abuse that. I would take 10, early on, especially like before the database. I go get them filled at different places just to take a little bit more, because that's just like the addict mindset.
Yeah,
I was numbed out. It wasn't doing anything, but I treated it like it was, like up until like the last year. I mean, I'd cut it up into fours and take it before a meeting or take it before a work thing to treat it like an anxiety. Like it would just like it'd be doing anything. Fucking half-life so long. But it wasn't until I started that first taper and I felt my body just like react, and I'm like understood the power of this medication. And I got a little momentum. I committed to taking 8 and 6, 8 and 6, so 7 a day. And it just, I'm stubborn. I procrastinate. I'm an addict again. So, but when I commit and I start something, when I I can like show that same level of stubbornness towards whatever it is I'm doing. Like, so in this case, it was a slow, fucking meticulous process of like slowly titrating down, maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, you know, hitting little markers every few months. And then I had been told also to give yourself a year, given my length of time on it and whatnot. So I had that in my head too. Like I'm not
Where'd you
pushing.
hear that?
I couldn't even tell you. I
Okay,
mean,
I'm just curious.
yeah, no, I know I had cold called some detoxes, but I always got the sales pitch. I mean, I just was asking around. Like I didn't look. The internet's full of shit. I mean, it's mainly just promotional stuff. Don't ever stop taking this medication. This and that. Um, so yeah, that was I was working remote at that point, hunched over a laptop. This is like about a year ago,
Mhm.
when I even started on this journey. And
Okay.
again, I'm day 9 off, so we're coming up on like 10 months.
So let's kind of touch on that a little bit. So it's been a year, even though it's only been 9 days that you have been off of it. It's been a complete year that you have slow because it took me a year. It took me a year to taper down from the 8 milligram strip pill, whatever, right?
Mhm.
It took me about a year. So where were you? And you said it took you about a year. And let's get into your taper method. What did you? Let's
There's
get
no
into
met.
that process. Yeah,
There's absolutely no method.
I know.
Yeah, straight up just like was just going at my own pace,
Yep.
and I would look on the subreddit. I found the Suboxone subreddit.
Yeah.
Um, I'd go down a little rabbit hole, and then it would freak me out, and then I'd pull out for like a week or 2, 3 weeks. And yeah, it was very slow, and it was every 2, 3 weeks. Same doctor I had this entire time. He didn't give me any kind of taper schedule. He just said go slow,
Yep.
and like when you're feeling level, taper again.
Yep. That's
I mean, like yeah. By
that's
the way,
just it.
he
That's just go ahead.
he told me a few months ago, whenever I was I was I was healthy before. Like I felt healthy. I mean, I was on Suboxone, but I didn't have health issues. I didn't have complications. I never had issues refilling prescriptions. It was super easy. It's like main reason it was easy to stay on it. When I started coming off, that's when the problem started. My body and just I dropped weight super quick. I lost 20 pounds in a few months. Um, I was telling him like, yeah, what can I do about the sleeplessness? And he's like, oh, that's not a real symptom. That's not something I've experienced or heard people tell me. Like, that's fucking every person ever coming off Suboxone, their sleep's fucked up. And I've been on it longer than any other patient. What, like,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
But anyways,
So why
um,
did is this a doctor that you said had experience on Suboxone and coming off of it? Is this the same one?
no, 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 no,
So he's
no.
not
So
speaking from a place of understanding, like he thinks he knows, but he doesn't know shit because he hasn't experienced it. Yeah.
psychiatrist, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And okay. So for people who are wanting to come off, it's doable, right? You just have to be patient and don't put a time on it, right? Like, oh, I'm going to be off by this date. Like just be patient with yourself and allow your body to adjust to each taper. I mean, when you think about the half-life that this medication, there's a crazy half-life. And when you think about how long you've been on it, I mean, when you broke it down to me about 5,400 days, I'm like, holy shit, I've never even looked at it like that, right? But whatever helps each person,
Yeah.
look, navigate this situation. It is so possible. They want you to think it's not possible. It's possible, but the name of the game is patience. Patience and understanding and truly knowing yourself and knowing your body and knowing what your body can tolerate and what it can't and adapting to each taper. If you feel like you've tapered too much, then you need to you just have to kind of wait for things to level out. The most important thing is to really, really get in touch with yourself, get in tune with you, get in tune with your body and know what your body can and cannot handle. I am currently speaking to one individual and I get it when you're in this fight or flight, state. It's like you want somebody to give you all the answers. Well, I have the answers for what helped me, but you are wired different. So what helped me may not help you, just
Hmm.
like the Sublocade injection. I have a handful of people that are claiming that it helped them. And I did interview 2 people and they have been free of Suboxone for over a year after using Sublocade. but I have also spoke to a handful of people that have used Sublocade that are stuck, that are still fighting this fight, that, so everybody experience is going to be a little bit different. And as far as I'm concerned, Indivior are the people who created Suboxone. Okay. So they created Suboxone for opioid use disorder. Now they've got this new, instead of giving individuals that are stuck on Suboxone a taper schedule of how to come off of this drug, now they're like, oh, no, 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 no. Now we've got another solution for this problem that created called Sublocade. Okay, so they're quite literally preying on they're preying and profiting on millions and millions of people vulnerability. So it's like, how disgusting. I am not going to judge anybody that whatever route it takes for you to get to your destination. We're all trying to get to the same destination, no pharmaceuticals or no Suboxone, whatever that is for you. But I am not going to put my power back into the hands of the people that are profiting off our vulnerability. I'm just not going to do it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the exact same. First off, I'm so glad that I didn't research and know what Sublocade was when I started this process, because I would have been running straight to a clinic to get shot up.
Yeah.
And it would have served me no purpose, because it would have tapered it if it worked correctly. And I did a lot of research. I looked at, and what I mean by that is, like, I just looked at every form I could find and just look for positive versus negative. And yeah, I mean, it absolutely can work, but also, like, my situation's different. I just developed this weird. I don't plan. I don't plan shit a year in advance. I started tapering, and again, I'm like, all right, I need off this fucking shit now. Like, I can't. And it's not a process you can rush, which makes it really stressful and irritating mentally to hang in there. But I wrote it again, like 15 years to the bitter end, to the point that the second I had clarity, I wanted to, like, rush this process, and I had to sit there and do it for 10 months. And I struggled so much. I mean, it's been the worst year of my life, but I'm very thankful that I'm at this part of my journey. And because, I needed this win. Like, I needed this, and I've been doing a bunch of other stuff, which I'll get into, but yeah, it's the new miracle drug. Sublocade's the new miracle drug. And it's to fix the problem they created with the old miracle drug, which was non-addictive and a solution to every opioid addict. And obviously, they put a lot of money. It's on every commercial break.
Yep.
And they're dumping all this stuff in behind it. Yep. And it's you have every right to be skeptical.
Yep. Yeah, I actually came across, I don't know how I came across this information, but it was a meeting that Indivior had regarding Sublocade, and it was going into detail what each member said, and it was really disgusting. I mean, all they were doing, it was just a big money-making scheme. I mean, it's like they were just talking about how to market it, how it's the new miracle drug, blah, blah. I mean, they're, like I said, profiting off of our vulnerability, which is quite disgusting.
The MAP program. It's a MAP program, and it's not designed for an exit strategy. You can take it, but it's not designed for that. And do your own research on how subsidized this MAP program stuff is. But there's power behind it, and it's presenting itself as the only option. Right. So yeah.
Let's talk about a few things that have kind of helped you through your process, right? So, I mean, we know the withdrawal symptoms, restless leg syndrome, insomnia, anxiety. I mean, it's all there. So, you had mentioned to me, because we check in regularly, and you had mentioned to me that you got some acupuncture the other day, and that was very helpful, and that you finally had like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a godsend right there. I woke up feeling so ahead of the game. I got 5 hours of sleep last night. That was the end of day 8. And I was still battling withdrawals. It did wonders for me. So highly, highly, highly recommend acupuncture.
What are some other things that are helpful for you going through this battle? I know for me, getting out in nature, getting my feet in the grass, getting sun in my face, music in my ear to keep me going when I'm feeling like lack of energy. That music kind of helps push me and keep me going, right?
Hmm.
Working out, like, I know it's difficult to work out, but for me in my process and my journey, I had to have I had to work out. I absolutely had to work out, and that was something that I did when I could. What about for you? I know you mentioned yoga, that you had been through yoga, or that you were
Same, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I agree with everything you said. I did start yoga like 2 years ago, and it was you know, it allowed me, I don't know what it allowed me, but it gave me something that was just outside of my normal pattern thinking day to day.
Yoga?
Um, for sure. Oh yeah, hot yoga specifically. I got my ass whooped so bad the first time, but I mean, it was the best I've ever felt after a workout. I became addicted to it. I was going every day, and I'd still be going, but I got hurt on some freakish, riding the bike around, chain snapped. I went flying, fucked my toe up. So I've been out of commission for a while. Also, I can't heal right because you know, I'm putting my body through so much stress.
Yeah.
It's just been messed up. But yeah, everything you said. I mean, um, I can tell you though, the clear cut like difference maker for me. About halfway through my taper, I'd gotten down to. Oh, you know what else I did? God, I completely forgot to tell you this. I did
Yeah,
a class. I did a class on holotropic breath work. You know what breath work is? You
of
familiar?
course. Yeah, but I don't know what holotropic breath work is. I know what
Well,
breath work
I,
is.
I, I didn't either, but it's one of the most extreme kinds. You're sensory deprived. You put a blindfold on. You got kind of uh, earbuds in or something. I did it on Zoom. I did a few classes, and you are doing these insane breathing exercises. And I took three of them. It's like an hour each. Um, Everybody has a different experience. You should just Google it. But that it can lead to a very well, they say like an LSD trip. I mean, everybody has different experiences. I didn't have an LSD trip, but um, it can lead to just a moment of clarity, a different level of whatever consciousness. And I took three classes. It was insane. It was hard. It was I did not feel good at all after the first two. But what
Okay.
you're doing, and for me, I suppressed everything on Suboxone, emotions, everything.
Yeah.
At the end of that third class, you're you work up and like have an exorcism of some kind of stored trauma. And then
Okay.
you have like a moment of clarity. So I went and the third end of the third class, I finally felt like I had released something. And later that day, I sat on the beach and I just was staring at the ocean. And I will never forget just this like realization that I'm never going to live the life I want to live while on any kind of drug, any kind of pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
And and within a week, maybe two, I was seeking out 12 step and NA. That was foreign to me. Never been to meetings, hid my addiction, hadn't considered it a problem. And that series of events, and then eventually finding a support group and being vocal about what I'm struggling with, created a massive supportive environment around me.
Okay.
And I used those people and they fed off me. But every other thing aside, like without that happening in my life, none of that's possible. I wouldn't be 9 days off. I'd still be, you know, in the mental prison.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It does help having a support system of people who actually understand. What do your family members think about it? Like, do they have any idea? Are they? I mean, because I know for me, I had to completely forget about what anybody thought or what anybody. I had to completely just not care because people really don't understand this fight. And when you're in it for a little while, and it's like you're having days of not wanting to do, and you're just feeling all the feels, and you're going through all this shit, and it's like nobody gets it, but it's like you have to quite literally. For me, I went through it alone. And I didn't, but I didn't care. Like you, I was able to do it out of the comfort of my own home while taking care of my mother, so it was like I was very fortunate in order to be able to do that. And I was just feeling very compelled to kind of document my journey. But what are your either friends, family, I mean, everyone aside from your support system, because we've established it's very important to have a support system. But what are their thoughts or feels? Do they understand how difficult this medication that you were trapped on and you are coming off of is?
Yeah, no, I had zero support system for the first half of my taper. I I think I mentioned earlier, but like I kept the fact that I was on this medication to myself, like the
That's
best
right.
I could. And I think I concealed it pretty well. There was one ex girlfriend that just like, you know, we were dating for a few years. She found out. She gave me shit about it. But aside from my immediate family, as far as I know, that's the only person that knew in my life what I was doing, what I was on, and what I was attempting to do. And it was the hardest. I mean, I divide my taper basically into two segments. The first half, which is me just trying not to punch myself in the face because I'm arguing with my ex every night, wondering why, like, my life, she's trying to make my life so much more miserable coming
Yeah.
off this medication that she's busting my balls on for years. And then essentially after I had finally given up and asked for help and then like met a support group because I'm not doing steps. Like I'm not following every detail of the program. I'm not pretending to be like a uh, an expert on any of that. All I know is it was a life changing experience for me to go in and just meet. I went to my first meeting just hoping to meet somebody that had successfully gotten off Suboxone, like in person.
Wow.
And there's just energy, man. When people have your back and you're putting your mind to something, it propelled me to where I'm at now, like
Love that.
1000%.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I even mentioned to you a little bit about like creating like a group chat of all of you that I'm speaking to right now, that are going through this fight and like kind of coming together. I kind of mentioned it to the other two girls. I think, one of them's like feeling not so great. And the other one, I don't know if I mentioned it to her, but it's something that I think needs to be done if everybody's open to it, because it's good to know that you're not alone and that other people understand, and everybody's experiences are going to be completely different. It's not going to be the same. And that's another thing. Like when I post, about Suboxone or Sublocade, and people just like, there's always going to be people who are pushing back, like, oh, Suboxone saved my, well, that's great. Suboxone saved your life. Congratulations. I'm very glad that Suboxone saved your life, but there are also quite a few people that are stuck that don't want to be. Right.
Mhm.
Or just like in my comments of people being like, well, Sublocade's the way. Well, I don't think so. Maybe for you, Sublocade's the way, but there is no one way. There is no one way. There is no right way, which is why we are all kind of coming together and trying to see, okay, well, what helped you? Well, what did you do? Okay, well, what helped you? Kind of take what resonates and throw out the rest, right?
Yeah. I don't know where our opinions might be different on this, but like Suboxone did save my life. Like I had no chance of staying off the street pharmaceuticals at the time. And it put me in a position to get a job quick, save some money, move out. And the issue is like it's such a like razor's edge, man, because you meet the wrong doctor, the wrong clinic. I was told a year or two, but I was never forced to make any kind of decision. I was never put in that position. And as long as I could stay on it, I did until I had my own kind of whatever moment of surrender. Um, but it's like it's and I don't want to be the person that's coming on here just going to shit talk the entire uh, process because I'm so new to this. Like, I don't know how my recovery journey is going to pan out. I'm 9 days off and how many days on? Like, I just know what I'm feeling right now, which is overwhelming brain activity that I did not have for 15 years of just and feeling the difference of what that medication had, like how it suppressed my brain.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. And
Yeah.
it's a long time to go putting that kind of a wet blanket like on your entire body.
Yeah.
Um, and it's probably the only reason like I'm up and can talk and feel good right now because the nights are still terrible. But like I'm just grabbing onto these chills and goosebumps and all this stuff that was just dead inside for a long time. And it's
Yeah.
really giving me motivation to like ride this thing out.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. I would say, and we kind of touched on this a little bit too, that once you get to like the 3 month mark, that's when the good's going to start outweighing the bad. Everybody is going to be different. But for me, and what I tell people is when you get to that 3 month mark, you're going to start noticing more days that are looking up for you versus not so many days. But I mean, honestly, the most important thing with this is just to remain present. You cannot look too far ahead. You cannot look too far behind you. You just have to remain present exactly where you are with exactly what you're dealing with exactly in that moment. And also understand that whatever it is that you are experiencing is going to pass. You will get through it. And there is no one way, there is no perfect way, and there is no, oh, people beating themselves up. I had an individual that's like, I'm disgusted with myself. I can't even believe I'm on this. Like, I'm so ashamed. No, like, this is, that makes me so emotional, right? Because and
Yeah.
what I told her, I was like, I said, try to eliminate the way you feel about yourself. You need self-love, and you need to love yourself, and through this process, being disgusted with yourself is not going to help you get through this. You have to really love yourself and accept yourself to get through this, because this stuff should have never, I mean, I just don't think it should have been prescribed at all. I mean, yeah, I could see what you say. I mean, I would say that it helped me to a certain extent, right? But it's just like, I guess I've just talked to too many people and I've had my own experience just to understand that it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. My opinion goes back and forth with this, right? But I
Yeah. Yeah.
think
Yeah.
the most important thing is to just be patient with yourself. Don't judge yourself so much. Look at this as you're going to make this shit your bitch, and you're going to get through it. And I promise you will. Just be patient, love yourself, be kind with yourself. You'll get there. Yeah.
100%. Actually, I want to follow that up. I should have mentioned this earlier, but my perspective on what should have and shouldn't be prescribed, like my perspective does not matter at all because I am so in the trenches, like and fresh on this. Like you've got more time than I do on the other side, and I'm literally like, you know, in the midst of like I jumped off at 1.5 milligrams. Like I shocked the shit out of my brain, and I'm
Yeah.
just trying to hold on and ride this roller coaster. And dude, I'm listening to music 24/7 to
Yeah.
try to regulate my mood and not let the anxiety creep in because it's not. I probably sound better than I am because it's an up and down roller coaster. But
It is.
but
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I think your
I'll have a
perspective
different
does
perspective
matter,
in a year.
actually. What's that now?
I mean, I'll have a more balanced perspective in a year. Like when I get through it and I get time and I get a little distance and I can actually put the entire experience into like a perspective, I think.
That's right. Yeah, no, this is why we're doing this, right? I think it's going to be beautiful because in a year from now, we're going to be on here and you're going to go and we're going to be like, "Oh wow, remember?" Because I had a girl who did the Sublocade injection. She's a nurse, she's a practicing nurse, and she had just got it, and I was like, "Okay, great. Come on, let's talk about your experience, blah blah blah." And then I actually interviewed her not too long ago, and she came back on 1 year later and kind of discussed where she was at and how it helped and da da da. But I believe all perspectives matter, all of it, because, but like you just said, your perspective will likely change, right? Because you're in a completely different mindset. Right now, you are in the thick of it, right? So it's like, so have you
I
tried,
got
here we go, here's one. Jane, have you tried listening to singing bowls to clear your mind? I love that. So a year ago I went to a retreat, and I experienced my first sound bath, and it was really profound. And I love this. Jane, have you tried listening? Is this something you've tried?
no. I mean, I've had that happen at the end of a yoga class. Like somebody banged on that thing, and it was definitely like crazy. But I gotta look into that. The next thing I'm doing, I hadn't even told you this. I found out about this today is cryotherapy. There's a spot and it's kind of cheap. You can do 10 sessions for 300 and they work with methadone clinics and mat people. I
Okay.
talked to the guy today. Yeah, I mean, some of these clinics are set up to where I'm doing like an infrared sauna on Saturday because that's like where I'm at. And then eventually when I got to play it by ear, but actually do the cryo treatments. There's other stuff. And this is like, I have not even tried this. I'm going off of trusted friends that have told me this recently. But so, yeah, anyway, that's what I'm up to.
So
I'm looking. Yep.
My
Yeah.
friend Jane says I have a 40-minute video that singing bowls on my channel. You'll have to check it out on Chiro Sounds. You should definitely check it out because we know frequency has a lot to do with a lot. We
Yeah.
also have somebody here. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening to all kinds of music, classical, like anything to stimulate my brain. And it's like pretty much every moment I'm up and not doing something, it's with music in the background.
Yeah, music is what kept me going. So Kent says I'm tapering 1 milligram a week and I'm at 10 milligrams a day. I think I'm understanding that right.
Oh, I
But
started. Oh, he's
what
at 10 now.
that's what can you read the comments here?
Oh yeah, I'm tapering, and I'm on. Oh yeah, he's at 10. Yeah, so and I got to tell you, I got like 10 minutes,
Nope,
and
that's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
but we'll definitely like do a follow up, like in a
Sure.
couple weeks, next week, whenever.
Whenever.
'Cause, again, I'm fresh. This is day 9. I jumped off, but here's what led up to my experience. When I reached 2 milligrams, going from 3 to 2, I had built up so much fear and anxiety in my mind. 3 to 2 was manageable for me. 2 to 1.5 in the span of like, I don't know, 6 weeks or something. By the way, another thing that helped me, I got a new doctor. I started researching and looking for a new doctor, and it took a few months, and I got to pay him out of pocket. Shit is not cheap, but I went into this guy and I explained. I didn't have to lie to this guy. It's the first doctor I actually didn't have to lie to, or didn't need to lie to, or didn't want to lie to, whatever. And I explained where I was at, what I had been doing up to that point. I figured he was going to give me Sublocade. I was at 4 or 3 milligrams by the time I got there. He looked me up and down. He's like, dude, you've got willpower and you've done so much of this already. Like, you don't need Sublocade. And I was like, all right, I trust this doctor. And I have my reasons for him being the only doctor I trust. But I don't want to put his name out there, obviously. But I'll ask him maybe down the line. Yeah. So anyway, going from 3, so getting that new doctor, it just allowed me to be more accountable, hold myself more accountable. It's the same reason I'd go into meetings and I'd share and I'd say, I'm doing this and I'm trying to be off by October 1st. And I'm putting these goals out there because I don't want to, and it's probably like a character flaw, but these people are invested in me and I want to do this thing that I said I'm going to do. And it allowed me just a little bit of more like motivation. So anyway, 3 to 2 was okay. I wasn't super sick. Going 2 to 1.5 fucked me up for 3 months. And that lasted, it was a month of like, the sleepless, restless stuff.
Yeah.
I was getting about an hour or 2 a night. The beta blocker clonidine is like imperative. You got to have that. So ask for it. And, it was about a month of actual feel, it took a week to even feel it. And then it was 3 weeks of like sleeping 1 hour a night. And, granted, I was not doing these other treatments. I was not getting acupuncture. I got a vitamin C infusion yesterday, which is why I'm so perked up today.
Yeah.
Well, you go on TikTok. I went on TikTok. I got one. Same doctor offered it, and a new guy. I had one done for the ear infection because it was just the ear infection lingered for 2 months. By the way, it was my body just shutting. It was my body shutting down. Right. I mean, it was like I can't think of the word. A good example of my entire experience where it's just like my body's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we need this chemical to survive. I mean, I was very dependent upon it. It affects everybody differently, like you said. And I was on it for such a long time that the tapering process just got really intense and hard at the end. But specifically getting from 2 to 1.5 was very frustrating because the withdrawal had healed. I felt myself putting 3 days together, waking up in the morning, feeling all right. And then I get this double ear infection. I'm on 4 different antibiotics. And I had to lay in bed for like a month and a half. Anytime I try to exert myself, I'd get sicker. And I would just have to lay there. And thankfully, I had a support system that kept me grounded. And then when I finally got the all clear from the ENT, it's a few weeks ago, it wasn't that long, maybe a month. I had gone in to meet with my new doctor, and he was like, dude, I think you should get one small shot of Sublocade because your body can't handle this chemical in this taper. And it was the first time I'd even entertained it. And I wrestled with that decision for a week. And even though I had the ear infection, it cleared, like I still look like shit. I was pale. I'm still underweight by a lot. I don't fluctuate in weight. I'm tall and skinny. Like I've been operating at the same weight my entire adult life.
Yeah.
I'd gotten blood work done, gotten signed up with a physician, kind of like give myself the peace of mind knowing that there's not some crazy underlying stuff going on. I had crazy stomach complications. All this stuff started surfacing as I tapered lower and lower. And I was still at 1.5 3 months after tapering. And I made the decision, it's October and I want to be off this shit. And I'm either going to get this Sublocade or I'm going to cold turkey it. And I was full of conviction, both directions, depending on the day. And I set it on a Friday to make the decision. And Thursday and Friday, I just felt the same way, which is like, I've never allowed myself an opportunity to not have the shit in my system. And even though I'm at 1.5, and even though by every suggestible thing you see, it's best to do 0.25, like I felt like there might be a chance that my body's just rejecting the fucking chemical at this point because I've tapered so long. It's like, dude, you got to shit or get off the pot. We can't taper lower. I'm not willing to sacrifice months of sleep to get to 0.25. So it's either now or Sublocade. And I'm so thankful I didn't do Sublocade because I needed this buprenorphine out of my system.
Yeah.
And again, it's been, yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, yeah, I don't take it physically, but it's foreign, it's the same chemical in a different, so
people think because they're not consuming it by their mouth that it's like, but I'm like, no, I feel like you're even making it worse. Now you're putting it subcutaneously in your skin and in your fat cells and shooting it right on India.
And it's already the most potent chemical I've ever been hooked on and come off of. And then you're introducing it in that kind of way, like when it's already just stays in your system forever. You get post-acute a year down the line, and like, I've read stuff too where if you don't get enough or you do it wrong, and the doctor's got to be good, that's another wild card. It's like, oh, I was fine for 5 months, and then I just started having like crazy heart palpitations and panic attacks. It's like, so why the fuck would I just want to roll the dice and just wake up one day not being able to function in whatever job or whatever way I've been able to rebuild my life? Like now I just got to deal with this post-acute bullshit for a month or two. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm glad I did.
What's in that vial? How do you know one vial is not stronger than the next vial? Like, you don't know what the hell's in that shit. But again, I don't judge anybody for doing what they got to do to get to the destination that we're all trying to get to, right? But it's like, at what point are we going to be done with these fucking so-called solutions that they are creating for the problems that they created? you know? So it's like, it just makes me so frustrated. Now, I will say, like I mentioned, I interviewed 2 people. They used Sublocade, came off of it successfully. She doesn't really push for it too much. She's just completely glad to be off of it. Although the other guy I interviewed, he's like, push, Sublocade, Sublocade. And I'm like, you almost sound like a marketing strategy for Indivior, and you're completely against them. But although you're pushing, but again, I think he's just happy to be off of Suboxone, right? Like completely off of it. But I've spoke to so many people where it literally put them in. She said the first day that she had such a horrible headache, she couldn't get out of bed for like 3 days. It was like the worst experience ever. So it's like, why put, and not just that, she had gotten herself down to a very small dose and had to build her dose back up just to do the injection of Sublocade. That makes no fucking sense at all. It's like,
sorry, that was actually the main reason why I didn't want to even entertain it, because I had papered to where I was at and I was unwilling to backpedal. Because, dude, getting to that halfway or 3 milligram point, whatever, and especially when it got reintroduced at the last 1.5 milligrams, like this is the biggest accomplishment of my life is doing this. Like even before making the leap, because like any other person watching this and feeling like they're in a prison, it's got them by the balls, like no more so than me. Like I didn't miss a dose or a day for 15 years. And I mean it's crazy to think about, but
well,
I really gotta hop off. I'm sorry, but I thank you for interviewing me, and like I hope I inspire somebody else to like, whatever. Just make some progress or whatever. I hope it benefits anybody.
You even inspire me. You inspire me. So I'm very grateful, and hopefully we'll continue to chat and throughout your process. And we'll probably be here again from a year from now, and it'll be completely different stories. So thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for everybody in the chat. I really appreciate it because this was like a literal last minute thing. So yeah, you can go ahead and hop off, Scott. No problem. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, Jamie.
Before I do, I want to repeat this.
Okay.
Anybody going cold turkey? I'm at day 8. On the end of day 8, acupuncture got me 5 hours of sleep. So if you take nothing else away from what I've been talking about, like that is unheard of. And I woke up morning of day 9 feeling so ahead of the game because of the fact that so if you're attempting to do this, I've looked into a lot of stuff. I've tried methods and vitamins and supplements. Like I'm eating healthy. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. But that game changer was acupuncture. That can absolutely get you through what would be an unmanageable situation.
Thank you for bringing that to the table. I'm emotional. I'm so proud of you. Keep fighting. I'm so freaking proud of you. And
I got goosebumps again for the first time in 15 years. It's amazing.
What's that now?
I said I got goosebumps for the first time, and I'm getting goosebumps for 15 years.
Yes, so did I. See, that's another thing. You get to feel all the feels. It's a little intense, but you get to feel. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I love you all. And Scott, we'll talk soon. Y'all have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
All right.